Hello, and welcome back to Being Miraculous, a podcast by Shweta Shibraman. For those of you tuning in for the very first time, Being Miraculous is a podcast to inspire and live life to its fullest through my journey of self-discovery. Miraculous is the derivative of the Greek word meraki, which means to do an act with complete willingness, undivided attention, and wholehearted devotion. This podcast is a reminder of how we're not alone in this journey and on the simple things we can do to make this life a memorable and a beautiful experience. Do we control our minds, or are we at the mercy of the constant vagaries of our own mind? Hello, and welcome back to a brand new episode on the Being Miraculous podcast. Today, we are going to be speaking about mastering the mind. More often than not, for the question that we asked earlier, we are the latter. We are slaves to our thoughts. Even when we are on vacation, nestled amidst nature at its best, we are in our own private hell, thanks to an endless chain of thoughts in our head, which we carry everywhere we go. We keep seeking freedom outside. We buy material things, chase external accomplishments, and we keep running and running, hoping for brief moments of respite from the constant pressure of our inner chatter, only to realize it's all in vain. It's not the external ambience that's the issue, but the internal or the inner ambience that we've created for ourselves that has made it untenable for us. Like Eckhart Tolle says, thinking is the addiction of our generation. We cannot stop thinking. Time and again, I've been a slave to my mind too. Think about it. How many times have we started with, gosh, it's so hot and humid here, to, dear Lord, my life is meaningless and I have nothing to look forward to tomorrow or today. In a matter of seconds, we follow one thought after another, and before we know it, we have lost sense of time and space. We're questioning the very foundation of our existence. And remember, all of this is happening when nothing in our reality has changed. Our reality is exactly the same. The quality of our mind deteriorated and made us feel completely lost. And the more logical, intelligent, or rational you identify yourself as, the more you sink down this thinking trap. I used to pride myself on my rationality and my ability to reason, and if that's you too, then we give our thinking process a lot of credit. We rely on our ability to think to help us navigate life circumstances, so much so that it never stops now. It is mental diarrhea that just won't stop. But does it take you anywhere you need to go? The answer is no. We walk around in circles sinking lower and lower in the misery of our own so-called strength. I started to wonder, where do these thoughts arise from? What we need to understand is, at the end of the day, our mind is the receptor for all sensory information. The mind is that accumulation of everything you sense through your 5 sense organs. Things you see, the garbage you hear from society, things you touch, taste and smell. The intellect then goes through all of these inputs, dissects them into pieces, labels them, and files them and stores them away to be accessed on demand. Every thought is energy, and it attracts the same frequency of energy thoughts already stored in your mind. So if you have a negative thought, every negative thought in the same frequency lights up and fights for your attention. The brain is trying to do this to ensure your survival. It thinks you need to know all of these things. And the more times the same pattern has been followed, the more it gets stored as a neural pathway. So that the next time you fire a similar negative thought, all the linked neurons together fire together, and it takes lesser and lesser time to get to the end point. This means that if you've suffered from self-doubt, every thought that pulls your morale down further can be accessed much faster over the years, so your confidence plummets sooner and sooner as you get older and keep consistently facing self-doubt. It's the same with fear, self-esteem, anger, and any other powerful emotion you invoke. But Like Buddha said in a parable, it is not important to analyze where that arrow struck your body causing you the suffering comes from. You must remove the arrow to stop the suffering and move forward. So, how can we master our minds and gain back control? First thing that we need to realize is that thought cannot fight thought. You cannot solve a problem created by your mind by thought alone. Think about it. The next time you overthink, if you start to tell yourself, I'm not gonna overthink, I'm not gonna overthink, I'm not gonna overthink, I'm not gonna overthink, what do you think happens? Not only will you not stop that overthinking, you also add a new thought and an emotion to that ever-growing pile of things you're thinking about. A new thought that you shouldn't be thinking or overthinking, and guilt that you're still overthinking about it. When you counter a thought with a thought, you're trying to solve it at a level at which it was created, and that never works. You need to rise above, and that's where consciousness can help. 2. Bring in presence. You may not stop the stream of thoughts, but can you disidentify from the constant stream of thoughts coming your way and become the observer of your own mind instead? Just watch quietly as the monkey mind jumps from one thought to another like you're watching a movie. Believe me, this mental chatter can put Karan Johar dramas to shame. Our prowess in imagination is truly unparalleled in the universe. Become the observer. Be entertained by your own thoughts. Be present to your thoughts without giving in to analyze them or judge them or follow them. Let it come like a wave, crash and go back. Allow it to happen over and over again, as many times as it comes up. And stop following the trail of thought. The more consciousness you attach to the thought, the more energy it consumes. Allow thoughts to arise and let it be. Get back to the present moment by creating a distance between you, your identity, and your mind. 3. Start to see reality for what it is. Often our minds resist because it feels the reality is not what it should have been or could have been. It takes the opportunity of discontentment to go down that path of a fantasy of how blissful life would have been if only it went according to your plan. This trail of thought will not take you anywhere fruitful either. Begin practicing unconditional acceptance. Take responsibility and accept your reality as it is. Not how it should have been, but as it is in this very moment. Facing reality as is will help you move away from wishful thinking and make you focus on how you can move forward towards creating a better reality for yourself. Remember, self-mastery begins with the mastery of the mind. Our minds are just a tool that we need to execute specific mechanical tasks in the real world. Remember, self-mastery begins with the mastery of the mind. Our mind is just a tool that we need to execute specific mechanical tasks in the real world. And just like all the other tools, once you're done with that work, you need to switch it off, pack it in a box and throw it up in the attic, and retrieve it only when you need to use the tool again. This endless turning on of the mind is the cause for most of our mental health issues in our lives today. We remain so identified with our thoughts that we fail to realize we are not our thoughts. Thoughts are just a projection of life, not life itself. Distance yourself from identifying with every thought. Slowly but surely, the silence between the thoughts will grow, allowing you more moments of quiet away from the constant chatter. And it is in that being you begin to connect with your real self, the consciousness that is one with the entire universe. As Lao Tzu says, knowing others is intelligence, knowing yourself is true wisdom, mastering others is strength, mastering yourself is true power. And mastering yourself begins with mastering the mind. I hope all of you get to experience that quiet within yourselves sometime soon. Before we sign off, I had a quick announcement to share. As a lot of you know, I launched our memberships, the Being Miraculous Tribe, earlier this year. A closed group where I personally support members in making transformation happen in their lives at a monthly investment lesser than the cost of 2 coffees. I wanted this to be accessible to everyone seeking to live a better life, especially those who probably cannot invest in one-on-one coaching. In April and May, we are going to go into an interesting topic of finding what gives meaning in life. What should your next career move be? What kind of future will be most fulfilling for you? And how can we go about creating that life for yourself? So if that sounds interesting, DM me anywhere across social media. As always, you can try it for free for the first 2 weeks and sign up only when you find it useful. On that note, this is Shweta signing off, hoping you have a fabulous week ahead.